Oh, City Councillor John Burnside is asking city staff to explore the idea of building a bridge to Toronto Island. Well, he joins us live now with more on his motion coming to City Hall this week. Thank you so much for joining us, Councillor. Let's talk about the logistics, the details of your motion. What should people know?
Well, what I'd like them to know is this is about getting as many pedestrians and cyclists, giving them access to the Toronto Island, which I think all Torontonians deserve. You know, it's the gem of our city, and it's all about accessibility. Right now, we have ferries that are broken down. We're trying to procure electric ones, but we know how long these things take. We're not sure about the reliability. And then to boot, people are expected, adults anyway, are expected to pay $10 to access a city park, and I think that's unacceptable. We could make a link from the east end of the and it would allow for pedestrians, cyclists, and emergency vehicles to get across and enjoy the island. You know, we have hundreds of thousands of Torontonians who the closest thing they will get to enjoying cottage-style life are the Toronto Islands, and we need to make that accessible. We need to be more inclusive, and right now, we've been protecting privilege to an extent. You know, it's only a certain number of islanders, yacht clubs, and then the few people that can get across at the ferry and pay the $10.
Councillor, what has been the reaction so far from some of those islanders who for decades have, enjoyed a very, a fairly quiet life on the island? It's beautiful there. They pay their taxes, but at the end of the day, they don't own the entire island. But I'm curious, what's been their reaction to this?
Well, I haven't had any conversation with them. They don't actually own their land, but you know they actually live in what is a city park themselves. And this is all about making our parks as accessible to people as possible. We know there's a huge development going in at the Portlands. We're going to bringing in tens of thousands more people to live, and giving them that quick, affordable access, I think, is really key. Our parks are at a premium where we have so many people coming to the city, and we can't build more park space, so we need to utilize what we have, and I think this is the way to do it, and I hope other councillors agree.
Councillor, $1 million question, how much would this cost?
Well, I don't know, right? This is why I'm asking for a report by city staff, but I will tell you that when we're talking about electric ferries, just the consultants were originally estimated at $3.5 million. That is now ballooned $9.3 million. So that is one of my concerns, is that we're saying a couple ferries, electric ferries, will cost $80 million. I don't think that's realistic level. So whatever we do is going to be expensive, but let's do the right thing. Let's make the park as accessible to people as possible, and let's cut down our long-term operating costs, because if we have a fixed link, then we don't need as many ferry operators or city staff to ensure the limited number of people that are able to go to the island right now get there. It would be better for everyone, in my opinion.
Councillor, while I do have your time, the ongoing discussions regarding this science center, the abrupt shutdown has obviously upset a lot of people, but we're hearing of some local Torontonians who are willing to offer up $1 million to keep it up and running and to have some repairs, at least in the interim. What's your take on that, and just overall about this abrupt shutdown? And is there any way of potentially keeping it up and running for a little bit more so that these families can access these services and the camps?
Well, the outpouring of support, financial and otherwise, has been amazing, and I think there really is a way. Look, my biggest concern, of course, are for the people in my neighborhood that I represent, Flemington Park neighborhood improvement area. It's a great opportunity for kids to learn, but any level of government, if they show the will, they can get there. And I would ask the Ford government to maybe consider not putting beer in grocery stores, or I should say in corner stores, a year early. Put that $200 million towards fixing up the Science Center, and continue and really show their commitment to education and opportunity for young people. And the momentum is growing, and the one thing I will say is that the provincial government does have the ability to reflect and change course, and I'm hoping they'll do that now.
Has there been any conversations with the city, the mayor, and provincial officials with how that they can maybe reassess, reevaluate the situation to see if it could be kept up and running?
I did have early conversations. I met with Minister Surma, and I've met with the mayor. And I was, in fact, I was promised that I would be heading up a committee to look at how we can save some programming there, how we can bring in other programming. That committee's never got off the ground. It was put on hold indefinitely about a month or two ago. I'd like to see a greater commitment from our mayor, not just rallies. Let's get this thing moving. Let's get our groups together. There are lots of user groups. There are a lot of really smart people, and there are a lot of people who care. And let's stop just blaming the province. Let's show the will ourselves, whether it's financial or otherwise, to save whatever we can and do whatever we can to continue the experience of the Science Centre.
Councillor John Burnside, always great to chat. Thanks for joining us.